Thursday has a criminal record, but is still allowed to practice in California. It's part 3 of our special report, Dr. Danger.
You're looking at the back of Dr. Gregory Marks. When he saw our camera, he tried to hide from us, then quickly drove away. There are other things Dr. Marks has been able to hide. That he's a convicted criminal, that he was forced to stop practicing medicine as a doctor in the Navy, that he was forced out of medical practice in Florida. Yet Dr. Marks is a fully licensed California doctor. He's worked for numerous medical clinics that had no idea of Dr. Marks' blemished record, a record which begins in December 1981. Dr. Marks becomes a flight surgeon for the Navy. Just 8 months later, the Navy terminates Dr. Marks' medical privileges, quote, due to complaints from patients and physicians regarding his practice of medicine and his attitude. December 1982. Dr. Marks is arrested by the Manhattan Beach Police on charges of burglary, receiving stolen property, carrying a concealed weapon, and carrying a loaded firearm in a vehicle. In early 1983, Marks pleads guilty to carrying a concealed weapon. The other charges are dropped, and Marks receives 2 years probation. January 1983. After psychiatric evaluation at the Long Beach Naval Facility, Marks is diagnosed as having, quote, an antisocial personality disorder and chronic alcohol dependency. Marks then receives an honorable discharge. Marks then goes to Florida to practice medicine. July 1983. According to Florida Medical Board records, 6 months after arriving there, Marks is arrested in Orlando for attempted rape in broad daylight. Charges are later dropped when the alleged victim refuses to press the case. July 1985. The Florida Medical Board charges Dr. Marks with incompetence, quote, by reason of use of alcohol or as a result of a mental condition. Marks is also charged with falsifying medical records and fraud. In May 1986, Dr. Marks voluntarily surrenders his Florida medical license. In return, the Florida Medical Board drops the charges against Dr. Marks. Dr. Marks then returns to California and begins practicing medicine. But it takes until March 1989, 7 years after Dr. Marks becomes a convicted criminal, till the California Medical Board files disciplinary charges against him based on his past transgressions. Those charges are pending. Meanwhile, Dr. Marks is free to practice medicine here. Earlier this month, we went to Medical Board headquarters in Sacramento to see if we could locate Dr. Marks. The board only had Marks's home address. They had no idea where he was currently practicing medicine, if anywhere. So we began searching ourselves and found that Dr. Marks recently practiced at this medical clinic in Commerce. He no longer works here. Clinic employees had no idea of Marks's blemished record. Did anybody know that he had problems with other medical boards in other states like Florida and also a problem in the Navy?
No, I don't think so. Nobody knew anything about it.
Nobody knew that he had problems with the Florida Medical Board?
Any problem with anybody.
And we found other clinics where Dr. Marks practiced. Clinics that checked with the medical board and were told that Dr. Marks had a clean bill of professional health. Last week, when we caught up with Dr. Marks, he was working here for the Advantage Care Medical Clinic in Van Nuys. A spokesman for Advantage Care told us, prior to hiring Dr. Marks, the clinic checked with the medical board and was told the doctor was, quote, a physician in good standing. The spokesman added, quote, at no time has the state medical board informed Advantage Care of any adverse information or complaints regarding Dr. Marks. Shortly after we contacted Advantage Care and told them of Dr. Marks's problems, the doctor was fired. As of today, we don't know where Dr. Marks is or if he's practicing medicine. The state medical board doesn't know either. A medical board spokeswoman told me today the board takes no action against the doctor accused of a crime until the criminal case runs its course. She could not explain why it took 7 years after Marks's guilty plea for the medical board to file disciplinary charges against him. More tomorrow.
Hard to believe, Harvey.
Fascinating. See you tomorrow, Harvey.